So Israel, it don't attack Iran, and now they throw away kumkum for each other. Now bad news for Ambazonia terrorism. Also, the road construction for Nkamba, the Ring Road, and also Bamenda Road, now bad news for Ambazonian people them. And today, I also take on back a few years ago, 2016-17. Remember a time where they would tell the teachers, say may they stop for the teach. They actually tell the parliamentarians them, civil servants them, politicians them, say may they quit from parliament, may they stop their civil service work. I go bring another small story today, number 15 day for June 2025. My country people them. Now my Sunday country talk with my country people them. So 2 days ago, Israel, it will start for the launch missiles into Iran for, say, the one for destabilize their nuclear program. And Iran, it retaliate, it send missile back to for Israel. So far, for the two countries, them at least 200 people, they don't be killed. Hundreds of other people, they don't be injured. And a lot of properties, they don't be damaged. Why this one, it been a bad news for Ambazonia terrorism? Now because the Amba terrorists, they be getting only one plan, they be getting only one agenda. It be been for internationalize the struggle, as they call them, where it means say. They know say they not get them the powers or the capability for force Cameroon government, for give the independence, for drive Cameroon government out of the territory. So their only hope, now say they go cause an international humanitarian crisis. It means that themselves that they go start kill their own people them, and after they don't kill a few thousand people them, their calculation begin as say international community go sorry them, it go run, can't divide fight, can't say why would not divide, and then now it go put pressure on Cameroon government for give political concessions for the Anglophones them, for them now for give them whether ministerial positions or special status or federation or whatever. Now their calculation it be that. I go come to that. So as I be talk, just for give a small understanding, imagine say for May 2025, the Norwegian Refugee Council, it will report, say, the self-inflicted suffering where it is for Northwest and Southwest regions and for Cameroon. Now it been officially the #1 most neglected displacement crisis in the whole world. Where it means, say, before Israel it attack Iran, the Norwegian refugee crisis, they be talk, say, that Anglophone crisis, it not even be, I mean, they don't ignore them. It be the most neglected. I mean, say, they come #1 for the most neglected displacement crisis in the world before Israel even attack Iran. So since Israel attack Iran and Iran retaliate, 2 days later, it don't already gather international attention. The United Nations, it don't already put out a statement. The European Union, it don't really issue a statement calling for maximum restraint from both parties. The President for America, Donald Trump, it don't issue a statement. The Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, it don't also issue a public statement on video. And the whole world, it then now on edge. Some people, they talk, so this one at the potential start for World War III. Just imagine, 2 days for tell una how serious this palaver it be. And now bad news for Ambazonia because they want international attention for Anglophone zone and other things the way they come now for can drag the international attention to their side. It means now say they neglect the Anglophone crisis even more and more, and are the worst enemy for the so-called Ambazonians and their dream.
Many of you believe we are in war. We are not in war. We are not in war. I am still waiting to see the kind of devastation that I see in Ukraine, in Victoria. How can we convince anybody there is war when there is no devastation? The structures of Laraburi, Cameroon are still standing there. The governor mansions are still standing there. The DOs, the mayors, the sonoras, in the CDCs, they are still standing there. You saw Syria, the war in Syria. You saw the devastation. No doubt we begin to wonder, why is the international community not coming to us? Why are they not talking to us? They have not seen any devastation to prove there is war. Diplomats are still leaving Yaoundé and going to Bamenda, leaving Yaoundé and going to Boya, holding conferences. And we say there is war? It's a waste of time. Let us put our money together and devastate those towns and cities, and let the world media descend upon Ambazonia and tell our story as they do in Syria, as they do in Ukraine, as they did in Iraq, in Afghanistan. That's what we need to do.
So, as I don't explain them, the Anglophones, they want to create an artificial international humanitarian crisis for drag in the international attention, like even Chris and Odon Tokam say. They want to put their money together. They want to devastate the towns and cities in the Anglophone zone so that the CNN, the BBCs of the world and media and international community, they will pay attention to what it happened in the Anglophone zone. But the result from the international community so far na sewiti. Make we go back for 2019 October, where President Donald Trump be removed Cameroon from the AGOA, when the African Growth and Opportunity Act, na trade pact between the United States of America and some African countries them, where it gives some small preferential treatment for trading between those African nations and America. First of all, this one, Americans them, they canceled the AGOA for Cameroon, and the so-called Ambazonians, they take them like saying a victory, but it no get no impact for Cameroon because Cameroon economy, it not depend on America. As a matter of fact, now only 3% of Cameroon international trade, it go for America, 3%. And out of that 3%, the benefit where they will get not like a tiny fraction. So it no impact Cameroon, but the Amba people, they run around, they celebrate them, say that one a big victory for them. Okay, una good luck. So according to them, they say President Trump, he don't sanction Cameroon. Okay. But for Cameroon, that one, it be insignificant. So now President Joe Biden, he come for power, and the administration, they issued the temporal protected status when a TPS for all Cameroonians. That one happened in 2022 because of the insecurity for the far north with Boko Haram, for the east with Seleka rebels then with Central African Republic, and of course the Ambazonia armed terrorist gangs them in the northwest and southwest regions. Because of all of that instability, now why that way the American government, they issued the TPS for Cameroon, not be for Ambazonians. So the so-called Ambazonians, they celebrate, they talk a TPS, it be in a great victory for them, and for their tiny little brains, they see that one as say America don't recognize a war day for country. Okay, good luck for una.
The temporal protected status in which USA lawmakers are calling. We record that 42 lawmakers in USA, they wrote a letter to President Biden, and they said Cameroon should be granted a temporary protected status. While there are many groups who are trying to push the US government to do that, there are many groups also, many groups in Cameroon, friends of Cameroon, who are pulling the strings behind to stop, because they know that once President Biden signs and say Cameroonians, or let me say Cameroonian because that's how they will refer to, that people from Cameroon or Cameroonians in USA are being granted temporary protected status, it's a whole big changer. It's a whole big changer. It means politically there is an issue in the country. And that is why Joshua Osei and those CPDM parliamentarians, that is why they wrote that letter. They wrote the letter to stop and to halt US government, President Biden, from declaring Cameroon as a TPS country. And the only reason we're very angry with Osei was because as a son of the soil.
But by December, that's in 2022, President Joe Biden rolled out the red carpet for President Paul Biya when they invite the President Paul Biya for the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit for America. So the Amba fools them, they be angry, confused as usual, and for them, another defeat for their agenda because they want international attention, but they get the opposite because the international attention now they recognize Cameroon's sovereignty. Then the second coming of President Donald Trump for 2025, within the first 100 days of the administration, he cancelled the TPS. That one be happen for April 2025. And the administration, President Donald Trump, it talks say, the situation for Cameroon, it don't normalize. Peace and normalcy, it don't return. So Cameroonians, the way they be protected under the TPS situation, They fit go back to their country and he give them to the 3rd of August 2025 for leave America, or they will start catch them, send them back for Cameroon. This one, Amba fools the confused, now great defeat for them. The same America, since 2019, they don't arrest at least 13 so-called Ambazonians and charge them with crimes including providing material support to armed terrorists inside Cameroon. These 13 individuals then, they don't be given prison sentences averaging about 4 years in federal prisons all across America. Some of them include Mangang Edith, Che Wilson, Nuyela Tita Wilson, Anye Collins Ngomanji, Godlove Mancho, Roger Akem, Tamufo St. Michael, and a bunch of other ones them. The Kansas City 3, you get Langmi Nestor, Claude Chi, and Francis Chenyi. They be arrested and locked up since November 2022, awaiting trial for America for their role in kidnapping for ransom inside Koketunja, and of course, sponsoring Ambazonia terrorism in Cameroon. So all of these 13 people then, they just happen to be all Northwesterners them. I kid you not. The only Southwesterner we there today, na Eric Tato Tano, the number 14, one with the indictee for this April 2025, with providing material support to armed terrorists in Cameroon, and of course the Gary process, the big Gary, small Gary, mutilation of people's limbs and other things them, and raising money to sponsor so-called Amba boys in Cameroon. When I know the National AK campaign, and Mark Barra, aka Barretta, way there for UK, he been named as unindicted co-conspirator for that indictment for Eric Tato Gary Master, and of course Christensen Asong as well, way there for America, he been named in that indictment. This one, now the international community where they talk about, now the United States Justice Department, they indict Eric Tato Tano. So the whole world now, they shut on down, they elect Philemon Yang as the president of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Another big diplomatic victory for Cameroon, and of course now a great defeat for the so-called Ambazonia agenda. Now the international community that they don't internationalize the struggle. Ayabacho Lucas there for prison for Norway, held incommunicado for more than 8 months today, awaiting trial on charges of inciting crimes against humanity for Cameroon. So make we look at the internal dynamic of the so-called Ambazonian nonsense. Today for 2025, they don't get the capability for recruit more armed terrorists, military guns, they go for bush. Themselves, they get internal divisions amongst themselves. Once upon a time, they will get one IG, internet government. Today, they get 7 or 8 internet government, then for internet, of course, for Facebook, and more presidents than government serve. They are busy fighting amongst themselves. The so-called Ambazonian, they don't feel recruit picking them for carry guns, as I don't already talk them, but every day we reduce the picking them by kumkumization, by disarmament process, and the one way they run go for Nigeria, run go for other countries them, they run go for Francophone zone. So they don't get the capability for do any harm to the Cameroon government except for make noise for Facebook. For 2025, they now openly beg, cry for dialogue, for negotiation. They don't even the beg, say they want come back for one Cameroon. Because the ancestors, they don't realize I'm saying, they don't lose. On the ground, the Anglophone civilian population, they don't realize their lies, their manipulation, and the fake news. They don't work anymore. Now Anglophones, they distance themselves from the armed criminal gangs where they kidnap them for ransoms every single day. The presidential election to the camp for 2025 October, now another big blow for the so-called Ambazonia, because this situation, it don't take away any attention where any person, if of it focus on the Anglophone so-called crisis for Northwest and Southwest regions for Cameroon. So for conclude, the whole international community don't ignore the Ambazonians and their so-called independence quest or whatever. The self-inflicted suffering in the Anglophone zone, where it don't turn out to armed banditry and criminality, drug addiction, and just, Anglophones killing Anglophones. It don't be ignored by the whole world. And why that way today, it don't be a number one for the most neglected displacement crisis in the world. Israel and Iran, their conflict, it don't come now for can suck up all the small attention where it be available on the international scene. So nothing, be left. So who's that the so-called Ambazonians they go turn to? They go for United Nations, now Philemon Yang day for the Okuman, now he be president for day, they go talk with it. They go for international community, nobody need to listen to them. All man, it be focused on bigger problems, People that still recover from coronavirus, COVID-19, the economy for their countries them. Now we get other wars that happen for the world. Russia attack Ukraine, it take away attention. And then Israel and Palestine take away attention. And then Israel, Iran now, it don't can finish, take the last remaining attention will be there. And even some small attention be there for the international community. They go focus on what will happen inside South Sudan. And even if another small attention be there, they go focus on what will happen inside Sudan. And then you look at other countries around the world, Chad, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, they get their own issues and wahala where they go for. They even Gabon for corner with a coup d'etats them. All of those things them, they take away international attention. So people, the way they will carry guns and for kill their own people them, so as to bring in international attention, they don't fail and they fail woefully. Now make our focus now on the lies them, some of the lies the way they will tell we for 2017. Remember, they will ask some teachers them, government workers them, parliamentarians them, people the way they day inside government, what are they work now in external relations, the diplomatic corps, and public administrations, them DOs, all man, they be tell them, say they resign, come out for Cameroon government, come back, they go get their independence. Imagine the few people them, and believe you me, some of those few people them, they be here for this Amba fools them, they resign. What's that just so way by day today? If they for London, they do cleaning job because it qualify for do it for London. I said Joseph Wilbaway be being a so-called insult warrior, as he give himself the title. He come out from Cameroon as a parliamentarian with immunity. Come for London now, they do cleaning job because they be follow these fools and what they be tell them for 2017-18. Say me they resign for their positions them. Teachers, the way they be resign come out at that time for 2016-17, when the revolution, as we be call them, it be still the boil place. They be still the boil that beans now firewood. No be now they don't light candle. Even the candle so rain don't fall on top. So that way revolution will not be called them. It be still the boil. People they will believe them. They be even they contribute money for America, for Australia, for other countries them around the world, for pay teachers and for Cameroon, make them no go teach. Teachers, the way they be sack them because of their front seat or front row activism, they be sack them for government. They don't collect salary anymore. People, they will contribute money for one man country, they pay their house rent. Remember those days? Why they need still pay today? Where to be the future for those teachers them now? They don't lost this all thing. Since 2020 or so, they stop for they pay their house rents. How did they chop? They don't go back now inside farm now. Maybe they don't even losses plus picking them. Where they radicalize themselves and they go join Amba, they kill them for bush. Now the result that. I they talk with a Cameroonian civil servant the other day, very important big person inside government where I know one for calling name for obvious reasons because I know one for embarrassing. He begin tell me say they be tell them too, they be there inside this big WhatsApp group. I think he go over and send beats on Sase or something like that. So he say for their ex-student association group, they be talk say me all man resign for Cameroon government. Some of their friends, the way they be stupid, they resign. So a few years later, after the thing backfire, themselves inside the group, they started talk say, but wait for be our future today. If we follow the food and go resign our job. Just imagine. They don't frustrate Anglophones them. Now imagine, in the past 8 years, they don't get competitive entrance examinations, then what they call and say concours inside Cameroon, into the military, the B, the gendarmerie, the police, ENAM, ERIC, and all of those other public exams then for enter inside administration, inside government. What did the Anglophones they don't do? They don't discourage Anglophones that may they not enter, may they not write those public exams then for enter, so that they could also be part of the administration, part of the government, part of the diplomatic missions, part of the ruling class inside Cameroon for generate a new generation of the elites for Cameroon. They don't discourage them. Cash picking them, bond their birth certificate, bond their certification and GCE results. So the picking they don't get the documents them even for go write the concours them if they be want for write them. People the way they even go for go write the concours them, what when I do when I go bond their house or village, kill their part them. And then even till today, because of the nonsense when they do them inside the Anglophone zone, all the concours them, whether na ERIC, ENAM, the B, military, police, gendarme, all the concours them now. The picking the way they want write them from northwest, they write them now for west region for Bafoussam. The picking them for southwest region, they write them now for littoral inside Douala. So it gives an additional cost for transportation, for accommodation, and other difficulties them and challenges they wanna need to go through. It's there like how when all they run the same race, but they give you your own race. They talk other picking the start and then you wait. Maybe when I run marathon 26 miles, they tell other picking and say when I start the goal, they start to count the time, and then they hold you for back, tie your foot. And then after 3 hours before they tell you say begin go, but they expect you for reach the finish line at the same time with other picking them. But now we Anglophones them tie picking them, tie our own picking their foot, hold them for back, say they no run. The same thing when school one start. Amba fools they can't talk say they no one make schools they start the same time with Cameroon schools. What sense does that make? If we really want to show say we get control, make we talk make the schools they start before the Cameroon government schools they start, make we see them. We get our own academic calendar. When the beginning to go for school, they go right now which exam. Now who they mark them? Now who they produce the public certification for those exams? So it is just stupidity. What way they do? Because all what they go do now wait their own not just for disturb, not just for try for disturb, now all that. They go wait when Cameroon government don't come up with the academic calendar. Say schools they start on the 5th of September. They can't talk say no. Schools they go start now the 15th, 2 weeks after. Why? Why would I not decide when school will start before Cameroon government can't talk their own? Why would I not talk me the schools they start? If Cameroon government say me they start on the 15th, when I talk say no, they go must start on the 1st. Why would I not impose them before the date where Cameroon government talks to make it start them? And according to them, they go kind of glad say when military the whole Cameroon school picking in hand for taking go for school for providing security. The stupidity for Anglophones to go see that one they talk say that one means a problem their country. That one a victory for una. Instead, where it don't show say the Anglophone civilian population now they see the military as their only hope for safety and security. The Anglophone civilian population they see the military, the gendarmes, the police as their only hope for providing them security against what? Why you think that they hold that picking in hand for taking go for school? Why? They protect that picking from what? From the Anglophone terrorists. That is what. Yes, problem there. The problem now waiting. Anglophones killing Anglophones. And when I think that the international community, they don't know that basic arithmetic. They not be clever enough to decipher that. And now why that way the whole thing don't be ignored at the international level because they know what way it happened on the ground. So make we look at some other stupidity way they don't do for the past few years. The former Prime Minister Philemon Yang, as I talked earlier, now the President for United Nations General Assembly. Now the biggest foreign diplomacy that way Anglophones will ever achieve, like any Anglophone person will ever reach at the highest level. First of all, before you want to be Prime Minister, you don't get some background in public in international diplomacy and in public administration. So now why that way? For example, when I look at the background for Pa Philemon Yang, the background for Pa John Gute, the position where he be there for now the minister delegate or something like that to the presidency. Read the actual title now. The minister delegate to the Minister of External Relations in charge of relations with the Commonwealth. That one at the position that way Pa John Gute be occupying before he go retirement, before they bring out the appointee as the Prime Minister. And then Pa Philemon Yang, something similar like that. He don't be Prime Minister for so many years, come off there now the elected President of the United Nations General Assembly, where he did for them now. We not be desperate for internationalized when I struggle as we talk. But if we not be make these people then we are enemies, then because I tell you something, just by the nature of the office where Pa John Gute occupy him as the Prime Minister and the office where Pa Philemon Yang occupy him as the President of United Nations General Assembly, they fit pick their phone, call any head of state in the world, and they go pay attention to you, they go talk to you. If we not be really be serious people, then we will not really make enemies with all man. We not for even use these Anglophones then for pass for their back, for get international, for get into international corridors, for talk to some people because we not want for internationalize the struggle, right? We not want for talk in the circles of power where people the way they make the decisions they go hear una, where they go at least pay attention to una, they go list even here, but. Wait where una don't relegate ourselves to do. Now say una call ourselves president. Sako Ekome, Ebenezer Akwanga, Ayabacho Luka, some rascals. When I go on the protest outside United Nations General Assembly, outside where they don't put a cordon around the whole United Nations buildings, 2 kilometers away. That's if you even come close to the United Nations building. They don't cordon off the whole place. Una will stand at 2 kilometers away, begin shout for day. in the open air, talking to yourselves, talking to some police officer, security guard, wait there for keep una away from entering the premises of the United Nations building. Now, on our own diplomacy, that one I call them targeted diplomacy. Why were the real business of the United Nations, the decision making, it happened in the chambers of the United Nations. When we Philemon Young stand for, they talk to all other United Nations delegation and representatives, them they make decisions, them they lobby about things, them they vote on things the way they could translate into resolutions, where it could translate into actionable things the way they fit put them on the ground. When they're out there 2 kilometers away shouting in the air to some security guard for a targeted diplomacy, that una good luck. Then when I go hear some Anglophones, they complain about say they never get Anglophone people then be appointed to Minister of Defense, Minister of Finance, but they don't go talk about Minister of Territorial Administration, because right now Minister Paul Antanganji is there for that position. They don't want to talk about, but as a matter of fact, they will instead talk say no, may they not put Minister Paul Antanganji for there because he no will do their bidding. You understand? They say Anglophone man never occupy this position. Ma tell una, why when I talk about Minister of Finance or Minister of Finance? Because when I want thief money, is that why? I understand why they talk about Ministry of Defense, because for their mind, they want an opportunity for create their own so-called Anglophone army, because now secessionists, now separatists, they talk that one. They want for create their own military. They want for fit able for keep weapons aside for launch a formidable insurrection, because they know them. Say this one way they launch them for 2016-17, now just noise making and disturbance. They just disturb. It not get no impact, and why that way it be ignored. It be so ignored, so that it be ignored by even people that they live inside the Anglophone zone for Tewuna. Then say they walk on for Facebook, go post on for Facebook, say, be reminded, we are at war. You need remind person, say they for war. War not you get for remind person and remind them. So the sister they know say they not be formidable. It's just a laughing stock. It is stupidity, and the things itself it don't turn into criminality and armed banditry, and it is shame. So now why they talk about Ministry of Defense? Wait to be your interest for one for being Minister of Defense to achieve what? You where you be an Anglophone, ask yourself the ordinary Anglophone on the street. Wait to be your problems where you want to make Cameroon government a resolve them for you. Has that got anything to do with the Ministry of Defense? Because first of all, when they talk about national security, now the police, again, the national delegation of security, now police, they provide security. So if we have a problem now, police brutality, it don't get nothing to do with the Ministry of Defense. So talk about the national security, the police, even advocates, they put Anglophone person for there. But when I'm talking about Ministry of Defense, because it don't get nothing try for bring solutions to the issue of security, to the issue of police brutality and all of those things and corruption. No. Their interest now say they want for put person for that position where a good thief weapons them, hide them, give Anglophones them, and then fund the insurrection. And now one of the reasons that way they be want for talk about Minister of Territorial Administration, but they not fit talk because Minister Paul Antanganji, you know that kind of person we could do that thing. And then another thing where they talk say they really want say they want international airport for Bamenda. Why? Because they want for be able for smuggle in weapons. Hide them, because now separatists, now secessionists, all these people they talk this thing about, they want their own international airport. They don't want for be controlled by gendarme. They want ability for fit bring in weapons, so that in a few years' time they could then be formidable enough for launch the real secessionism and separatism inside Cameroon. Now why do they talk about Minister of Defense for be able? Because the Minister of Defense get the ability for negotiate, for buy weapons on the international market and for get into military accords with other nations them. So, for example, the Ministry of Defense, the weapons, they will bring them inside into Cameroon, customs, then they go through those things because now Minister of Defense, it get away those containers, they come in by sea and it just goes straight to the army depot for the ammunition and weapons and all of those things them. And they want that kind of person we go there for that kind of position where it could just take 2 or 3 containers them, ship them for Anglophone zone, they lock them for some place, and then recruit Anglophone people, then put them inside army, thousands of them, and then deploy them for Anglophone zone, and then start the real insurrection. Now they are planned that. Because wait to be the Ministry of Defense, how that one go bring development to the Anglophone person. Think about them. If they make one Anglophone man Minister of Defense now, how would that change the livelihood and the quality of life for you, the ordinary person with there for Bamenda, where it want education, where it want for succeed in business, where it want for selling products and for market, where one for make a profit, raise a family, send kids for school, and get good medical care. How will that help that family? The answer is it doesn't. But Anglophones, they talk about those ones because they are not genuine. They be disingenuous. They complain about things the way it not even makes sense. Because if you look at the ministries the way, they don't actually put Anglophones them for their way, it go benefit Anglophones them. Like for example, when I talk about, when I look at our second favorite Bangwa man, Minister Paul Tasong, because when I know Beltus now our first most, our favorite Bangwa man Beltus. So Minister Paul Tasong, the minister delegate to the Ministry of the Economy. Okay, he be in charge of planning. When I know the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development. Minister Paul Tasong day for day. So now that kind of ministry where if he help una with town planning, with development and all of those things, then now which is our Anglophones in one time. But Minister Paul Tasong day for day, are you taking advantage of that? No, when I cry now Ministry of Defense. Why? Because now we bad belly people them, separatists them. Okay? Look at the other minister we did for them. When I talk about even the external relations, like I don't talk about Pa John Gute, I don't talk about Pa Philemon Yang. Now the current minister in charge of the Commonwealth. Now what they call? Now say the title long. Now minister delegate to the Minister of External Relations in charge of relationship with the Commonwealth. Now Minister Felix Bayu, man will come out from Old Town for Bamenda. When I want for internationalize the struggle, right? But when I get the right person where it talk directly with the King of England, directly with the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Now, Bamenda man, are you taking advantage of that? No. But wait when I go do. Kosham, go burn his house. When I go burn the house, when I call it all kind names them. But now the right person that will not even need them. Wait, if we not be one for even get attention, make her assume. And even if it no give una those connections them, but at least no make enemies with thee. Now the point that they make them.
Hail the Kumkumasa, we the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Kumkumasa, you shall free our country from terror. And your blessing shall be like the stars above. The Most High God shall be your guide.